Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mango, the GOAT, and this is the IIP. IIP stands for Involuntary Immigrants Podcast. I had someone ask me a question. It's a very important question. I'm surprised I never addressed it, but they said, Mango, when did you realize the black man was God? I said, shit. I thought you was going to ask me a hard question. Most people would think it was like when I learned about the mathematics and I really had a self-awareness. Some people even think it was the time I got arrested and the time I almost died, or the time I did fucking some kind of drug in the desert and some crazy ass story. It's like, no, I wasn't none of that. I realized the black man was God when I realized white people don't wash their chicken. They don't wash meat before they cook it. And I said, that's some uncivilized shit. And like, I was like, hey, I asked a white person, why don't y'all wash your meat when you cook it? Motherfucker said, well, when you cook it, it cooks off all those germs anyway. And the shit just blew my fucking mind. And right after that, I found out a lot of white people, not all of them, but a lot of white people don't use wash rags to wash their ass. Like, they just use the hand. And then at that time, I also learned some people don't even use soap. Like with some white people, I think Brad Pitt was one of them, but they were like, when you use soap, it washes off your good germs. And listen, I don't know about all that shit. All I know is, you want to wash all that shit off with wash rags. Some people use the loofahs. Some people use sponges. But you use something. You use something, man. And that shit just like throw me off. That's like uncivilized in my eyes. So realizing, civilization comes with a guy like nature, I was like, well, damn. Then you learn about stories of like the Moors teaching Europeans how to bathe and shit. Like if you look at the Black Plague, that was just like filth. I remember when I was a kid, they was telling me about like fucking these people actually believe like rats came from when you leave a rag there to turn into like a rat. If you leave like a dirty rag there. And I always wondered, I said, well, if they don't use washcloths, what they had dirty rags for? But then I also started looking at pigs, like, cause a lot of people know me, I don't fuck with pork. And I'm always trying to talk niggas off of pork and shit. And if you look at the history, like of Europe, they used to have like, the pig was the first garbage truck. You know what I mean? And they were shitting in buckets and shit and throwing that shit out, and then the pig eat the shit and the pig get real fat and then they eat the pig. Like that's unsanitary. You know what I mean? So that's like an uncivilized thing. It's funny. I watched this documentary on pigs and they were talking about like pigs in the wild are actually cleaner. Pigs in their natural state, they're cleaner. It made me think about that phrase like crabs in the bucket. And when Jay-Z was like, nobody stops to ask that, crabs don't belong in a bucket. That's why they react the way they do. It's the same thing with pigs. Like pigs in the wild are actually, they prefer, grass and this and that. In the wild, they won't eat their own shit and do such and such. It's when you uncivilize them and they kind of go into like a survival mode. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think Erykah Badu, On and On always kind of touched my soul. So I think they kind of always set me on a path that I was on. But see, I laugh because I did not do my math. So then when I learned the math and I could start equating it to things, and I'm still, listen, man, I'm not perfected in the lessons and all of that. So I don't want y'all to misconstrue. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, can't nobody teach you the math better than me. Can't nobody tell you the lessons better. Nah, I'm telling you, I'm an idiot when it comes to the degrees in the mathematics. I'm learning. You know what I mean? I'm constantly learning. And that's where I'm at in life. But I could tell you off rip, the first thing I learned and I could equate to was that the black man's God. And it's crazy because when you say the black man's God, a lot of people take that for a joke, right? Like some brothers and sisters, you say that to, and they be like, right on, and they feel that you goddamn right. Some people understand that when God made, Adam, he made him in his image and likeness and all of that stuff. So they get the image and likeness. Image mean you look like a motherfucker. Likeness mean you just like the motherfucker. So image and likeness is important. Well, we can go down a long rabbit hole with that one. So let's fuck it. Here we go. God makes Adam in his image and likeness. And then, Abraham, all that stuff happens, right? And then you get down to the Moses story. Moses was a Hebrew and his mom puts him in the river and he floats. And then, the Pharaoh's wife gets Moses. Moses is raised up in the kingdom for a long time before he knows he's adopted. So that tells you, him being a full-blooded Hebrew, he looked just like the Pharaoh and everybody who walk around the palace. These people look like each other. That tells you the Hebrew looks just like the people of Africa, just like the people of Kush, like, the Moors, like all of them. See, we tend to have this ideology that Egyptians is Arabians. A lot of the motherfuckers don't even know that Egypt is in Africa. But for the people who would say like, well, Egyptians are more Arabian, that's a migrated thing. And people in Egypt probably going to hate me. They're going to want to send an assassin to saying this, but that's not your native land. And the proof's in the pudding based on the language. The Northern Africa is the only really Arabic speaking places where that's the dominant language. I was talking to an African, he's from Togo, and he was explaining he hates Arabs. He hate them. Because he's saying the motherland, they treat him like shit. See, me, I can't speak on that because I'm a nigga. I ain't got no ties to Africa. I ain't got none of that. Only ties I have to Africa is African homeboys that I have. But I know every African homeboy I have, they do not like Arabs. And it confused them because it seemed like niggas over here tend to lean more towards Arabs. You know what I mean? They tend to like Arabs. And I think that's primarily because of gentrifications of our neighborhood. I don't really know if you call it gentrification. Yeah, I guess you can call it gentrification. It's like Arab gentrification. You know what I mean? Where the Habibis, they come and they move in the ghetto and they market off us, but they don't live there. You know what I mean? They just drive there every day to open their store between them and Asians. So we tend to be more friendly with them because they're a friendly face. Not too many Africans open stores in our community, which is very weird. But I think going on to it, back to what I was saying with the Egypt, Kemet, have you prefer it? These was a black people, but now in 2022, they all look Puerto Rican, which is funny as fuck. And you say, damn, where did the change happen? I think a lot of the change happened with the transatlantic slave trade and just the eradication of a people. So you get these Arab speaking places. I say, how come? It's funny, right? Because in your Nigerias and your Togos and your Sierra Leones and your South Africa, every other place below the Sahara Desert, right? They may speak an imperial white type of language. When I say that, I mean like they may speak British, they may speak French or some fucking shit, but they still kind of hold on to a native tongue, right? It's like the Native American in America, right? They may speak English, right? But they still, in the tribes, they still hold on to some form of native tongue. May not speak it 100% of the time, I don't know. But they still hold on to a lot of their tradition. But in the Northern Africa, these motherfuckers, you can't tell the difference between, in 2022, you can't tell the difference between them motherfuckers and Saudis and shit. It's kind of hard. You know what I mean? Maybe the language is a little bit different from the outside looking in. You can't tell the fucking difference. How? That's a whole region. That's a whole region where it's that dominant. I think when Islam kind of came through, it welcomed Arabians and Arabians came in conquering. That's my opinion. I'm pretty sure some facts somewhere in there. But like I said, I want to say it's my opinion because I haven't took the time to look up the Doomcoon issues because I'm focused on niggerdom. But So to get into where we started at, where I said the black man is God, God make niggas in his image. Well, God make Adam in his image and likeness. And then down the road, you know, Moses is a Hebrew descended from Adam, and he looks just like the Egyptian pharaohs and all this and that. And then you also got the split of the Abraham sons where, you know, Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael go to the Dune areas, and, you know, he does all of that and, you know, such and such. But black can only get lighter. Lighter cannot get blacker. I don't give a fuck what Bill Nye, the science guy, say. You can only go from black and lighter. And Eddie Griffin said something. He said, 2 niggas can make an albino, but 2 whites never made a nigga I know.
Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in your ass.
No, sir. I'm just trying to say that the black man is God because...
Shut up! Now who sent you, nigga?
I'm trying to just say the black man is...
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
Involuntary. Done contrary to or without choice. Immigrant. Definition 1. A person...
Shut the fuck... Shut... Did I say... No! Oh, shit! Say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else. Say something else, nigga. I'm gonna tie your old monkey ass up.